Still, Dally had a crush on Bill, so she invited him over to the mansion for tea and had he and Edward babysit Shadow and Shadette. They had the house to themselves. Dally wore her hottest laundry and a hot teddy. Bill just wore whatever 'cause he's hot all the time anyway. So is Dally, but hotter now.
Dally and Bill have a bunch of sex, even though they basically raped each other earlier. I mean, you would think they wouldn't want anything to do with one another after an ordeal like that. I mean, Bill doesn't want to have anything to do with the baby. Why the hell does he want anything to do with Dally? Anyway, Dally's man harem walks in on the sex, and surprisingly, they have a bit of a problem with what's going on. So they attack Bill.
"Stop!" yelled Dolly, pulling the sheets over her bare and bloody beef. She was so embarrassed. Bill started biting every he went then, and it didn't matter if he got head, but he got he. Suddenly he and Dally both began convulsing on the floor, spazzing out and rabiesing out of the mouth. It was obvious they were turning into vampires.
So Hiei starts to become a vampire. Kind of, sort of, I think. He might maybe have rabies here. Oh, by the way, rabiesing isn't a word. Author, I think you mean foaming at the mouth, or maybe something like that. Now, I haven't said much about this, but the author's spelling and grammar, they're terrible. This author cannot spell worth a shit, and she barely knows what punctuation is. It's like she flunked elementary school.
"It seems there is a new variable in the equation," said Dumbledore with math. "Dally is popping out babies like the West Nile virus." "That fucking daughter of mine," screamed Mystique. "Yar, she just makes me so mad."
This fanfiction is officially worse than West Nile virus. I think I can safely say that I would rather have West Nile virus than read any more of this story. And apparently Mystique is a pirate now or something, I don't know.
"It means you have to give your powers to both Shadow and Shadette, and it will weaken us together, sending our mechanical plan to failure," asked Dumbledore.
Mystique, you don't have to give your powers to Shadow and Shadette. You don't have to give your powers to anybody, and what am I even saying? That's not how superpowers work. You don't just give people superpowers. Ugh. Why isn't this story done yet?
"Well, you don't have to give HTM to powers until they're adolescents, so if we kill them before they level up, we can have all the powers to ourselves."
Or you could just not give them powers. Or, just leave them with Dally. She's so neglectful, it's only a matter of time before they wind up starving to death, or dying from multiple rattlesnake bites, or being taken away by Child Protective Services. And where are Dumbledore and Mystique, by the way?
"This way." "Where were Dumbledore and Mystique?" "Well, you let me tell to readers it within a bunch outline of where Hogwarts' only strongest and most savage of the wizards is possible travel deeply is. It is in Japan, where their many willow trees and squirrels and dragon bush are. But Mystique and Dumbledore were not alone. A young guy with long red hair and a scar across his eye was leaning in. He was the widow's eye and wore a robe thing. His name was Rurouni Kenshin.
Why, they're in a Japanese forest with Rurouni Kenshin, of course! Duh! Like I said, no fandom is safe from this author. Anyway, Rurouni sends a text message to somebody. It's never specified who he sends this text message to. Meanwhile, Dally's man harem is in the hospital from vampire bites.
The link turned into invisible and went down the hallway to where the nurse was. She was talking isothermally on the phone and he overheard. "Nurse. Yes, Professor. I know that it is true. I got a text. That's how. The headmaster has teamed up with villain Mystique and they are in a Japanese forest now. Planning on. Yes. It's horrible. Bye."
Oh, thank God Link overheard the nurse talking on the phone. Although we still don't know who Rurouni Kenshin texted, but I'm sure that's not important.
Dally looked at Hiei. He looked so pale and famished, and so sad. He groaned in Argonauts. She had 24 hours to find the antidote, but 24 hours to KTFB**. What will Dally do? Will she save Hetty but let Dumbledore and Mystique get away, or will she let Hiei turn into a vampire but save the world from certain Pearl? find out next time in FTS.
As explained earlier in this story, KTFD means killing that F-word Dumbledore, which is really like a way of further cementing this author's position as queen of the homophobes and all-around bad person. Well, it's over and it gets an F. It was trashy, it was tasteless, to say the very, very least. Calling this story tasteless is like the mother of all understatements. I really can't say much else about it. It was just really bad. And you should see the stuff that I didn't include. The stuff I didn't include was far more homophobic, anti-Semitic, misogynistic, and racist than anything that was included. So if you thought that what you listened to in this review is bad, it's worse. It's much, much worse. It made me angry, and it made me upset to read this, not only because of how offensive it is, but just what a bad person this author is, and she's trying to be deliberately offensive and deliberately terrible and hateful. Hateful is really the best word that can be used to describe this, and also, you know, she basically took a crap all over my favorite movie. It's awful. Well, I guess I'd like to thank Chloe King for bringing this thing to my attention. I'd also like to kick her in the shin, but we can't always get what we want now, can we? I'm the FanFiction Critic. I have a BA in English, and now Bumblebee Tuna will play me out.